All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm your moderator, Amy. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Our session today fits the holiday season prep, how to optimize Roadmunk with a winter cleanup. After the session, you should be more familiar with some cleanup and organization tasks that will help you keep your fields and roadmaps clear and efficient. For our presenter, we've got Cheryl. She's one of our Roadmonk's resident experts, specifically one of our onboarding and education experts. She's got a lot to share with you today, so lots of tips. So definitely looking forward to that.
And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. So what we're going to be talking about is a winter cleanup of your account. And it was really great to get those poll results from you because it really gives us an idea of what needs you have for cleaning up your Roadmunk accounts. Okay. So usually springtime is a time for us to do some spring cleaning and get rid of all the clutter and make everything nice and clean. But it's also just as important in winter. So right now, some of us are going to be facing some downtime with the holidays coming. So it is a great time to go through your roadmaps and your fields and get everything ready for 2024 so that it'll be smoother and everything will be nice and sparkly and new for you to be using, okay? So we're going to go through some really great tips on how to do a cleanup, such as taking a look at all of your roadmaps and all of the names and talking about standardization. Same thing with the fields, so that like you see here, you don't have 4 fields just named status that you have even no idea who's supposed to be using them or if anybody's even using them, okay? So then we're going to, reduce the chaos, we'll have some tips for some nice roadmap naming conventions, and the same thing with fields, so that you can kind of think about some ways to keep them standardized, nice and clean, and be able to get rid of fields that you're not using anymore, okay? So our agenda today, we're going to talk about how to clean it up. Okay, how to clean up those fields, how to go through your users and take a look at, do some auditing in that area. How to avoid chaos in the future. So I will go through some tips on to standardize your fields and how to manage them. We'll go through some naming conventions and I have some suggestions for that. And then we're going to talk about custom templates and how you can use those and why they can be really important for getting your users started on the right foot in ways of using the correct fields and everything nice and clean, okay? So we're going to start off with merging, archiving, and deleting fields and roadmaps. Okay, so first we're going to talk about merging fields. So merging fields will help you remove duplicate fields, okay? So I'm going to take you to my Roadmunk account and show you how you can go about merging fields. So what we're seeing here is my main Roadmunk account, okay? So here's all of my roadmaps that I'm looking at, all right? And down on the left-hand side is your field menu. So here's where you can see all fields. So I can pop in here and I can see my account fields. So I can take a look at this every once in a while and see if there's any duplicates in here that need to be cleaned up. And I do see a couple duplicates down here. So if I look at my fields, these 2 roadmap fields, I can go to the right-hand side. Under roadmaps, you can see how many roadmaps these fields are used in. So my first roadmap field I can see is used in 5 roadmaps. So I definitely want to keep that field. This other one, it's named the same and it's used in 0 roadmaps. So I think it's a duplicate and I can get rid of that. So I click into the field, okay? And I go down to the left-hand side and choose more actions. And I'm going to choose to merge this. You're going to get a preview of a little wizard here that'll walk you through it. So this merged field, it's going to be deleted. Okay, so the field under primary field, I choose what field I want to merge it with. So I want to merge it with this roadmap field. This one has 2 fields, two values. This one has 5. This preview will show you the values that are exactly the same that's going to map over to the field that you're keeping. Okay, so that makes sense to me. So I'm going to map those values. So I mapped 2 values that were exactly the same, and the field that I'm keeping has even more values. So that's the more useful field to keep. When I confirm this, I'll keep that more useful field, and I'll delete the other duplicate that I don't need anymore. Okay. Another way you can go through this is suggested merges. So Roadmunk will read your account fields and it'll suggest merges that make sense to the system, okay? So if you go into this area once in a while, you may see that there is suggested merges. Now I'm going to go into this one, merge spend to date into spend to date. So this means that these are named exactly the same, which happens often, okay? And we're going to just go through this, but you want to be sure that you're reading the preview because these are suggested merges. They're not ones that you've chosen yourself. So just be sure that this makes sense before you actually do the merge. So this makes sense to me. It's just a difference of this doesn't have decimals, this does have decimals. So this makes sense to me. So now I'm going to get rid of one of those fields that is just a duplicate and causing clutter. All right. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is archiving fields, okay, and deleting fields as well. So within your field list, if I go into my account fields, you can definitely archive and delete your fields. So archiving, you can archive fields and get them out of your view, okay? That cleans up your view, but it definitely does still keep those fields within your Roadmunk system. And at any time, you could go ahead and restore those fields if you're going to use them again. Again, keep an eye on how many roadmaps your fields are being used in before you make any actions like that. So this roadmap field is one that is not used in any roadmap. So that one I could always merge again into this one. All right. Now there's another one. Let's see. Okay, so this product effort field, it's not being used in any roadmaps. So I'm just going to archive it, but I'm not going to totally delete it because I feel it'll be useful in the future. So I'm just going to archive that for now. Okay. So got it out of my view and cleaned up the list a bit. Okay, so now what I can do is I can go into my archive fields. These are all the fields that I've archived in the past. So I can take a look at this and take a look and see which ones of these could I maybe just delete from the system altogether. So this collab field, it's not used in any roadmaps. The CX field, not used in any roadmaps, and it was created quite a while ago. So these 2 fields, I can delete them, okay? So I can delete, and again, you can restore fields using the restore function if you wanted. So I'm going to delete these 2 fields. Okay, and I'm just going to type delete these fields because you definitely have to be sure that you want to delete these fields because you got to think about it. If they are part of any roadmaps, you're going to be deleting that data from roadmaps, okay? So you want to be sure that you're going to be deleting something that doesn't belong to a roadmap. So now I'm deleting those fields and can clean up that view, okay? All right. So like it says here, ensure that if fields are account fields, they're not used in any other roadmaps or portfolio roadmaps because they will affect all of the roadmaps they're attached to. Okay, so archiving roadmaps. So just like your fields, you can clean up your roadmap list and you can archive those roadmaps. And again, you can archive them just to get them out of your view. Maybe they're not being used right now, and you can restore them if you want to at a later time. And then if they are roadmaps to be completely deleted, you archive them first and then you delete them. And that is an additional step, safety step, just so that you're sure that you're ready to delete, so that you don't just press one delete button and it's totally gone. So if I go into my Roadmunk account, okay, so I can see this test roadmap down at the bottom. I don't need that, so I'm going to archive it. Okay. So now that removes it out of my view and cleans up all of my roadmaps that are current. If I go into my archived roadmaps, I can see a number of roadmaps here, and I can go through them and decide if I want to delete them altogether. Okay, this 3 Jira demo, if I look at that, I know this was created a while ago. It was just for a demonstration. I'm the only owner on this roadmap. So for me, it makes sense to delete it. So I can delete it from this setting, or I can delete it from the main archive screen by clicking on it and delete. Okay, so that cleans up that roadmap. But definitely be sure that it's a roadmap that you want to delete. So take a look at the members and see who is belonging to this roadmap. Make sure it's not attached to a portfolio roadmap, because once you do delete those roadmaps, the data is gone, and that's going to include any attachments that may be attached to the roadmap, any descriptions. It'll be gone. So just be sure that that's what you want. That's what you want to do. Okay. And this is what we just went through about deleting the roadmaps. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go through user management. So we're going to talk about auditing your active users, deactivating users or deleting them, and auditing the users. And we're going to talk about teams. And I'm going to go through our reports too, to show you how you can make use of them. So going back into Roadmunk, you can go to your account settings. All right. Now, these tabs on the top, they're to be used by account administrators, so the managers of your account. So if you're not an account administrator, you won't be able to see all of these tabs. So many of what I'm going to go through right now will be very useful to your account administrators, okay? So your users tab, you'll see all of the users within your account. Your collaborators, which are editors, your reviewers, which are read-only, and any users that you may have inactivated, okay? So it is good to go through these lists every once in a while. Be sure that the roles that's assigned to all of these users is appropriate, okay? So maybe somebody like Rachel, she doesn't need to be a collaborator, because keep in mind, right now, 10 out of 10 of my collaborator seats are being used. I don't have any more seats open for another collaborator to assign another collaborator. So I do want to open one up because I need another collaborator user. So for Rachel, I know her use case, and her role is okay as a reviewer. So I'm going to change her to a reviewer. All right. And save. Now I see I have one collaborator seat open, and that's great. That's what I need. So definitely go through these lists once in a while and make sure that you have the appropriate permissions for your users, as well as this person here, Justin. I know he left the company not too long ago, so I don't need him in my Roadmunk account. So I'm going to deactivate Justin first, and I'm going to save. Okay, just gives you a message. Are you sure you want to deactivate? Okay. Now, when I go into my inactive users, I see that Justin is here. And being that he left the company, I can delete him from the system totally. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Now, some people you may want to keep in inactive users because maybe they haven't left the company, but maybe they're just not using Roadmunk right now. Because they were working on a project that they were using, but now they're not going to be using it. So you can deactivate these users so that license is freed up that you can assign somebody else to, okay? And then if they come back into using Roadmunk, you can just activate them again, and they'll be able to be active in the account again, okay? All right. Now, I wanted to talk to you about Teams. Teams is a very useful feature within Roadmunk. This is where you can add a team and add multiple users to a team so that when you do share your roadmaps out, you can share the roadmaps with an entire team. So this makes sure that nobody within that team misses important roadmaps that are applicable to the entire team, as well as it keeps it nice and organized so that when you have roadmaps that are part of your team, you'll see that organized within your Roadmunk main menu. And I'll show you that when we go back to the main menu. If you wanted to add a team, you just choose add a team, give that team a name. Okay, and then we go next. Oh, here we go. And then this will bring up all of the users within your Roadmunk account. So you can just choose the users that are going to be within this team. Okay, then what's going to happen is that when I share out any roadmaps and I choose this entire prod team, all these 5 members are going to be invited to that roadmap. Okay, so it's very useful in that way, a great way to keep organization of your roadmaps. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk to you in this section is reports. So in this reports tab, you can go in here and it's a great way to audit your account. You can download these as a CSV, so you have it in a data view. Okay, the roadmap usage report, it'll give you a list of all of your roadmaps and who the owner is, when it was created, and when it was last edited. Your field usage report will show you all of the list of the fields with their values and the roadmaps that they're used on. So this is a good way to see if you have duplicate fields, as well as if they're not used on any roadmaps. So then you can say, okay, then you know what, it's good for me to merge these duplicates. It's good for me to archive these fields because they're not being used on any account. And then you can clean up those fields really well with this report. And then a user report. This will give you a list of all the users, okay? It'll show you their authentication methods, meaning how do they log in? Are they logging in locally with username and password, or are they logging in via single sign-on, okay? And their last login date. So this is important because it'll show you who's using Roadmunk and who's not using Roadmunk. Maybe there's some users in there that don't use it anymore. Those users you can take out of the system or inactivate them. As well, it can show you the adoption of the Roadmunk tool. So when's the last time your users have been logging in and why? Are they not using the tool? Do they require more training? And if that's the case, then you can contact us and talk to us about that. Maybe your customer support manager or our support team, because that last login date is definitely very important. Okay, so we're going to close out of those settings. Okay, field standardization and management. Okay, so your account fields are definitely very important. And it's important to keep them standardized so that the people that know what fields they're supposed to be using in their roadmaps. And it really becomes important when you're making portfolio roadmaps that you're bringing 2 or more source roadmaps together. You want to get your end users used to using the common fields all together so that if you're pulling in 3 teams' roadmaps together into a portfolio, you don't have to do a bunch of cleanup because everybody's not using the same fields. Okay? To be able to help you out with this, we recommend a naming convention. So naming your field by the department that's supposed to use it and then the field name, okay? So for instance, you can see here, I have my product management status field and I have my IT department status field. Product management, they use status terms like up next, in progress, backlogged, completed. Whereas IT uses terms like in development, testing, shipped, scheduled, things like this. The terms are totally different. So you want to indicate in your field names who this field is for. Otherwise, we get 4 fields called status, and you're not even too sure when you go to make a roadmap which status field you're supposed to be using. Got to click in and out, and that just not only causes confusion, but it wastes time. Okay. So next we're going to talk about how to promote roadmap fields to account fields. So within Roadmunk, there are 2 different types of fields. One is a roadmap field, and that field just belongs to the particular roadmap that you're working on. So only the owner has access to that roadmap field. Nobody else within Roadmunk, when they're creating a roadmap, will be able to use that field. The other field is an account field. An account field is a roadmap field that has been promoted because it's a very common field that others within your account will use within their roadmaps as well. So what you can do is create a field, and if you're wanting to create an account field, create it as a roadmap field first, and then you would promote it. So that's what we're going to talk about here. So going back to my roadmaps, I'm going to pull up my Avengers team roadmap. Okay, when I look at my item view in my Avengers team roadmap, I can see all of my fields across the top here. If I hover over top, a tooltip will come and it'll tell me if it's an account field or if it's a roadmap field. So these are account fields. This one is a roadmap field. Now, a field that is called risk, that go in and I look at the values. So it's a product management field called risk, and it has low, medium, high risk values. To me, this means that this would be a very commonly used field across Roadmunk. My other teammates could make use of this field. It would be common. So I'm going to promote this to an account field so that others can use it. Right now, it's a roadmap field. It's only used on this roadmap. So I'm going to make it available to everybody else. So I go down to more actions and I promote. So this is going to promote it into an account field. And then everybody, so now you can see it's changed to an account field, and everybody else in Roadmunk will be able to access it when they're making their roadmaps. All right, now when I hover over top, it tells me this is an account field. All right, so field promotion best practices. When you are deciding on what fields that you want to promote from a roadmap field to an account field, definitely think about the values that are within those fields, how important they would be to be used on other roadmaps, and if other team members would be able to use these on their roadmaps. So when you are deciding, as you know, an account administrator or a collaborator, what fields would be good to promote, that's what you got to kind of think of. What values they have in them, who would use it? Would this be useful to other people within the account? Okay, how to favorite fields. I really like this feature. It helps save time. It kind of cleans up your view so that it makes it more useful. So you can favorite fields so that you make all of the fields that you use all the time right up at the top. All right, so right now in this roadmap, if I want to add a field by clicking add field here, I get this whole list of account fields. And some of them aren't even for my team. Some of them are for the IT team, the product management team. These are the ones that I would use, but I'd never look at the IT team. So I kind of got to look through this whole list and pick out my fields. Favoriting fields will make them land right up at the top, all of the fields that you use all the time. So you can do that by going into your main menu, down to your field menu, okay? Click into your account fields, and on the ones that you know you're going to use all the time, click on the star. Okay, so these are all my product management fields. I know I'm going to be using these ones all the time. The IT fields and stuff, that's for my IT team or my digital team. So I don't want to have to go through that whole list. So now when I go to my roadmaps, I go back to my Avengers team. in my item view, and I click on to create. Actually, I'm just going to refresh my browser so that we'll see that favorite field list come up correctly. Okay, and now when I do bring up my fields to add, when I'm creating a roadmap, okay, if I click add field, all of my favorite fields come up to the top. Now I don't have to go through this whole list. So that's a great feature to use so that you can just save yourself some time. It's kind of like bookmarking web pages, okay? You can do this with your roadmaps as well. So I've been going down to my Avengers team all the time and using that, going through this whole list. So there are a couple of these roadmaps that I use on a normal basis. So if I favorite them, then I can just go to my favorite roadmaps and use that so that I don't have to go through that whole list all the time, okay? Okay, now roadmap naming conventions. So you can see that, like with my list of roadmaps, it can get to be a very long list. And especially if you're an account administrator, you see all roadmap names. So to try to think about a good way to organize your names, it helps keep that standardization. Visually, it doesn't look like chaos. It doesn't look like clutter. I know that as a person, visually, if you see something that's cluttered, it almost causes anxiety. So to do this with your roadmaps, it really helps. So we recommend naming it by first the department that's using this roadmap, then what team of that department is using this roadmap, and then a term just about what this roadmap is about, okay? And this is beneficial when you're creating portfolio roadmaps because you are taking source roadmaps and making a bigger roadmap of 2 or more of them. So with a portfolio roadmap, if you have naming conventions, you can easily pick which roadmaps you want to add to that portfolio. So when I go to all my roadmaps, so you can see here, I name mine with the department, the team, and then what the roadmap is about. Visually, it keeps it nice and neat, alphabetized, and I can easily expect that's what my roadmaps are going to be named as, okay? So it does cut down the clutter that you'll be seeing on your roadmaps. Okay, visualization types. So just like roadmaps, we can get a long list of visualization types. As you know, within Roadmunk, we have 2 different visualizations, a timeline, which is a very date-dependent visualization. So you're plotting your tasks from start to end date. And then a swim lane, which is a more flexible roadmap. It's more agile. You're not as concerned about the dates as you are as how to easily move tasks between different headers. So move from scheduled to in progress, move from being assigned to Kate to be assigned to Cheryl. You're not as concerned about the dates that apply to them, okay? So we recommend naming by if it's a timeline or a swim lane, and then what is the roadmap or the visualization about? So here's where all the visualizations are. So you can see here, I have a swim lane that's by stage and it's all data. The one that we're looking at on the screen, it's a timeline, it's by department, and it's all data. But then I have also made a swim lane by stage with a filter on it because I want to see only what's in progress and what's in development, okay? Because say my boss asks me for this type of roadmap all the time because that's all they want to see. They don't want to see anything that's, backlogged or stuff like that. They just want to see this all the time. So I create a visualization with a filter applied and I name it appropriately so that at first glance, whoever comes into this roadmap knows that what that visualization is about. Okay, so next we're going to talk about custom templates and best practices. So within Roadmunk, we do have templates. One, we do have templates that we at Roadmunk have created that might meet your use case, and you can use them, say if you're a product manager, if you're an IT manager. So we have created some with certain formats that may be useful to you, and I'll show you where they are in a moment here. The other thing that we have are custom templates. So custom templates would be created by your account administrator. They're very specific to your use case, your teams with the data that you would be using within Roadmunk. And they're available so that you can start off using, you can start your roadmaps by using these templates, which have the appropriate fields in them. And they are the appropriate account fields that are there for your team to use. That kind of gets your end users off on the proper step, using the proper account fields, and quickly being able to start a roadmap without just starting it from scratch and needing to, figure out where to go right from the start, okay? I go to my main account field. The templates are in this area, okay? So under templates, first we see our Roadmunk templates. And like I mentioned, these are all in different categories. And you can just click into these and see if any of this matches your use case. So they are set up with a number of already made fields that have values in them already, okay? So if you, they have a few values in them already, okay? And they also have different visualizations that may be useful to you. So you can go use this template. You can start it empty, so it's just going to give you the layouts and the fields, or you can say use sample items. So that's going to give also all the data that's within here. And then you can use some of it or all of it. And you can also use these templates to practice using the features, because then you're using data that isn't the company data. It's not your company data. It's just sample data that you can play with and not affect anything else. All right, so those are Roadmunk templates. Our account templates are our custom templates. So for instance, this is a product management template that my account administrator created. It says, please use this template to start out all roadmaps, okay? So now when I click in here, there are a few account fields that are in this roadmap, okay? There is a bit of data. So this could be data that is important. Say this is a 3-year incentive roadmap. These are very important points that need to be within that 3-year incentive roadmap. So that may be there already for you to use. As well, there may be already some layout, so a timeline already created for you. There may be a swim lane, maybe even a custom color palette, such as the stoplight palette, okay? So this can be very useful. It gets your end users started off on the right foot. So you just go use this template, use the sample items, and you would give it your own title, okay? All right, and then create. And now this is going to be created into a roadmap that the end user owns, okay? So now you can see I have my own title, I'm the owner, and now I already have a roadmap started for me with some layouts of timelines and swim lanes, and I'm ready to go. So that's how it saves time. It increases the standardization of using the appropriate fields, okay? So what I'm going to do right now, because I've been talking about naming conventions for roadmaps and for account fields, and I've mentioned a couple times that it's really important when it gets to portfolios, I'm going to create a portfolio to show you how this comes into play. So I'm going to add a roadmap, and I'm going to create a new portfolio. Okay, and I'm going to just choose a timeline and create. Okay, so what I can see here is that all my roadmap names are coming up by default. So that's why naming conventions are really helpful because I can easily choose what roadmaps I want to add into this specific portfolio, okay? And I can update the sources. So now I have my Fallout team and my Avengers team in one large roadmap. Okay, so that really helps with the naming conventions of your roadmaps themselves. And when I go into my item view, you can see here my sources. So you can see that this is all the data from my Fallout team. This is all the data from my Avengers team. And you can see that both teams, let's see, my Fallout team and my Avengers team use the same account fields for category, department, stage, and percentage complete. Now that they've done that, you know that you can create an effective visualization that doesn't need a bunch of cleanup before you can even go forward and make that visualization. If my Fallout team used a category field and my Avengers team used a totally different category field because there was a duplicate, I'd have to come in and merge the field or, do cleanup by switching categories back and forth. And you can save time by using the correct fields, okay? And when you do go to your timeline and you are creating your roadmap, when you're using the proper account fields, it helps because when you go, say, to your header and you want to change your header, okay, your header that goes across the left-hand side. When you look at the top, it'll give you common fields. So it means that these 4 fields are used commonly amongst all the source roadmaps. Those are the fields that you want to choose to pivot your portfolio because you know that all of these roadmaps that are used as sources have used these in common as account fields. So that's definitely a tip when you are creating your portfolios, okay? All right, so I'm going through this winter cleanup checklist. We've talked about merging duplicate fields, archiving fields and roadmaps, deleting fields and roadmaps, how to audit users, inactivate and update the roles, creating teams within Roadmunk, standardizing with naming conventions, and creating custom templates. So we've totally checked off all that list. And that's definitely what I wanted to talk to you about today. And we will go through any of your questions that you have.
Hello, Cheryl. That's great. We do have a few questions here. So the first one is, this is a great question. Can you merge more than 2 fields at a time?
You cannot merge more than 2 fields at a time. You would just merge them one by one. So find your field that you don't need any longer and merge it with the duplicate. You can't merge, we can't merge more than 2 at a time.
And what if the value has similar name? So while you're merging 2 fields, you have 5 values spreading out 2 fields. But what if in field 1, I have, say, 2023, but in field 2, I name 2023 as 23. Can I merge them?
What will happen is that the merge will happen, okay? And your values will come over and then you can edit the field that you have kept. So merge the values over from the field that you want to delete to the field that you want to keep. There may be values that come over that, like what you're talking about, it may be just spelling that you want to correct. So then go back into the field that you've kept and edit it and just edit the values as to what you want them to be. But you're keeping the more useful field So then just tidy it up right at the end after you've completed the merge.
Okay. The next one is, why can't I see reports under my account settings section? Is it only available to certain licensing tiers?
With the reports, if you can't see it in your section, we can definitely add it as an add-on, and that has to be done in the back end. So connect with our support team, and they'll be able to add the reports onto your account so that you can see them. And that's not at an extra cost. That's just something that can be added onto your account.
All right. This person asked, why don't I see any roadmaps in my account?
Why don't you see any roadmaps in your account? Well, it would depend on the role that you have as a user. If you have collaborator licenses and you can't see any roadmaps in your account, that means that you haven't created any yet. If you are a reviewer license, which is a read-only license, that means that you should be looking at, if I go into my main account, if you're a reviewer license, if you go into my roadmaps, you won't see anything here because as a reviewer, you can't create roadmaps. You can't own a roadmap. So you won't see anything in my roadmaps, but you will find it in shared with me because any of the roadmaps that a reviewer has access to are ones that have been shared with them. So maybe check out your shared with me folder and see if they're there.
Okay, next one. So when you archive a roadmap, what happens to roadmap fields that hasn't been promoted to as the account field? So are they also archived at the same time?
If you archive a roadmap and there are roadmap fields, they'll be archived. Basically, a roadmap field is only used in that roadmap, so they won't be accessible to anybody across the account. So that wouldn't be something you'd need to worry about. If you do need those fields, you would first choose to promote them to account fields before you archive that roadmap. Because yeah, if you're choosing to archive the roadmap, then you just have to decide, do I need these fields or not? Because they only belong to that one roadmap.
All right, next one. If you delete a user, what happens to the roadmap this person owns or any comments this person has left before? For example, if I remove a user whose name is DK, who owns roadmap A, so who then owns roadmap A?
Okay, if you delete a user from the Roadmunk account, the roadmaps that they own will still remain within the Roadmunk account. They just won't have a user assigned to them. So when that happens, the account administrator will go into Roadmunk and reassign the ownership to an active user within the Roadmunk account. Account administrator has the permissions to reassign the ownership of any roadmap within the Roadmunk account. So that's the common practice of what you would do when somebody leaves a company. As far as the comments, those comments would stay within the Roadmunk account. There's no problem about that, as well as the roadmaps. Roadmaps won't be deleted, they just have to be reassigned ownership.
Got it. Next one. If I export a roadmap to a CSV file and delete the roadmap and its fields, so what happens if I re-import the roadmap?
Okay, so I understand if you're exporting a CSV, so exporting all the data, and then you're deleting that roadmap that it came from. So what will happen is that when you create a new roadmap and you import that CSV data from that you had exported, it will all come back into that roadmap the same way it did when it exported. So, for instance, if you import the data and the items had descriptions in them, all of the data that imports will include those descriptions. If you import the data and the fields that you the fields were account fields that you had in that data, they will import as account fields. So everything will stay the same, even though you've deleted that or archived or deleted that roadmap. It will all import as the same data as it exported as.
Okay, the next one. I am brand new to Roadmunk and my organization is also new to it. What are the resources we can leverage to help us learn the tool? So Shara, if you can, let's go back to the presentation deck. And if we go to the next slide, so we have three major resources for Roadmunk. Learning Center is a great starting point for new users. And in Knowledge Base, you can find more technical tutorials. PM Resources has a great collection of ebook and guides for product managers. The team did a great job pulling everything together, so use them. I mean, I use them all the time.
As well, when you're working in Roadmunk, our support option is right above your avatar. Okay, when you click in here, Help Center, that will bring you directly to our knowledge base. So this is where you can, if you want to look up information on your own, if you want to find some learning guides, you just key in your key term and it'll bring up loads of information in the knowledge base, okay? As well, through the support option, contact us, that gets you in contact directly with our support team. So definitely take advantage of that. They're a very knowledgeable group of people, as well as they respond very quickly. So take advantage of those options.
Thanks again for being here with us today. Have a great rest of your day and a happy holiday.